This week on the Hearts of Gold podcast, I got to interview Sara Nolind, who is just a fantastic human being. She's involved in so many different things. And as I was interviewing her, we uncovered that she was a racer, like raced cars. And that was news to me. So you can kind of see me be so surprised in our conversation as we start talking and getting into more of what she does in the community. But I am so excited for you to dive into this episode with me. Before we do that, if you could just take a second to like and subscribe to this podcast, then you'll get updates on whenever we release a new one. And you can send it to someone maybe that you like or that you don't like if you don't like the podcast. But hopefully you like it and you enjoy it. We're so excited to have you with us today. Join us today on the Hearts of Gold podcast.
Just really a heart of gold.
I mean, she's tough, but she has a heart of gold.
I'm a problem solver and I have a heart of gold. Thank you, James.
See, ladies, a heart of gold.
But I know you have a heart of gold and have done many good deeds.
You've been most helpful.
Yeah, that's me. Heart of gold.
You have a heart of gold.
18 karat.
Hello and welcome to the Hearts of Gold podcast. I am so excited for today's guest today because we have none other than the amazing Sara Nolind in the studio today. And I'm just going to read a little bit about her because you cannot say too much, I think, about Sara. Sara does pretty much everything in town. And it's just like you wear so many different hats.
Too many.
I don't know. We were just trying to get you to wear another hat right before the cameras came on. But so Sara is the president-elect of the Rotary Club of Oroville. Your family owns Pioneer Collision Center. And you were part of the board of Oroville Dam Cruisers for many years and very instrumental in the Gold Rush car show, which I think you're still involved with that.
Yeah, it's one of those things you never quite not become involved in. So I'm always there, even if it's just behind the scenes in spirit. I'm always looped into something, some way, shape, or form.
Oh my gosh. Yes. You helped get Union Coffee Club, yes, kind of off the ground and are currently working there as well. And then I just learned this. You raced cars growing up, which I had to learn some new terminology. So karting, stock cars, and road racing. 3 different types of...
They all kind of intertwine, but yeah, for the novice mind who doesn't really car-centric, I'll explain a little bit more. But yeah, it's all kind of in the same realm of each other, but just slightly different applications. Oh
my gosh. Well, I am so excited. I'm already seeing a pattern with like Pioneer Collision Center and then with the Oroville Dam Cruisers and then growing up racing. So I don't know. I'm super excited for our conversation today and so excited to get to know you a little better and have the world get to know you a little better because so much of it is, I think a lot of the guests that we have on here, they're out in the community, but sometimes they're running the things and they're running around kind of behind the scenes and people get to enjoy events, but may not really ever see the person behind the event. So I wanted to have Sara on here because I think you're awesome.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here.
Yay. Well, kind of how we get started is we like to talk about our golden beginnings. So golden beginnings was there life before Butte County? Did you live anywhere else besides Butte County?
Oh God. Born and raised.
Family. Yeah.
Easy, simple question. Born and raised here in Oroville. Yeah, I grew up here pretty much all my life. Having a parents own a family business, you really like settle down, have like the roots here. And so pretty much all of my life was here. Growing up as a kid, I mean, we were constantly traveling. I grew up in the back of a semi as a kid. My dad was traveling. Yeah, my dad was traveling from track to track as a kid. Wow. And so I was always in the back of the semi just, okay, here we go. We're going down the track. We're going here. We're going there. And it was just leave after work. Mom threw me in the back, turned on my Barney on the old VHS screen that we had. It was Barney, and I had my floor, I had my bed, I had my toys. Yeah. And that was just my childhood.
That was life.
So like growing up in like automotive racing industries, definitely like everything in terms of vehicles was just like the norm. It was just,
Yeah.
this was our weekend. But yeah, no, I grew up here. You know,
Yeah.
we lived a lot down in Merced. Always lived here permanently in Oroville,
Mhm.
but we were always down in Merced. My dad was starting a racetrack down there when I was younger, so we were
Wow.
always down there. So we were bouncing back and forth between, you know, here with the shop and work, and then life
Yeah.
and family, and then going down there, you know, for different race weekends and things like that. And so,
Wow.
yeah, no, I grew up a lot just traveling with my parents,
Mhm.
place to place. You know, the shop was pretty much like my first home.
Yeah.
Grew up there. I had my cot. Some of the old timers that remember when I was like, you know, this high,
Yeah.
you know, onto my mom, and like when I was literally like on my mom's chest as she's writing instruments on the ground.
Oh my gosh.
Literally like grew up in the thick of everything. I had my bed there, and I just this was my first home. Like the shop was my first home. The semi was the second home, and then my
Yeah.
actual home was like where I vacationed on the weekends. When
Your
holidays.
home was your vacation.
Pretty
your
much.
vacation home.
Pretty much. But, you know, I loved it. I mean, it was so great just always being all over the place. And then, yeah, we always just stayed here in Oroville. And then, you know, once I started going to school, I went to Ophir. I was at Ophir Gopher for a few years. And then
Okay.
my parents moved me out to Durham. So I went to
Okay.
Durham through elementary, middle, and high school.
Wow,
And I
okay.
just, my parents really like the smaller class sizes, and I loved
Yeah.
having like the smaller group and everything like that. And so
Yeah.
we made the drive out there every single day until I could get my license, or we had friends that carpooled. But yeah, I loved it out there.
Yeah.
I mean, Durham is like such a small school. Like my
Mhm.
graduating class in high school was 69 kids.
Oh my goodness.
Like we had 300 kids on a good day. And I talked to people that are like, that's like one class size
Yeah.
is 300. And I'm like, I couldn't fathom that. It
Right.
was so unique, but I loved it out there. I had such a great time. But I was always, you know, incognito here in Oroville. I didn't
Yeah.
grow up with any of the kids, but I knew everyone's parents. So it was like
Right.
super awkward. I like go in the lake and they'd be like, oh, your last name's familiar. And I'm like, is your parent so-and-so? And they're like, oh,
Yes.
yeah, that's my dad. I'm like, oh, sweet. Then I know him. I work with him. I call him twice a week.
Yeah. They're like,
And
do you
so-
know my kids? And you're like, no.
Yeah. And it was always so awkward. We would like be on the lake and I'm just like,
Sorry.
I'm sorry, who are your parents? Okay, that's who you are. And then we literally, that's how I knew everyone. And then
Yes.
but no one knew of me, like in
Yeah.
terms of like my peers, like my age group. They were just kind of like, unless you went to school with me or our family businesses were closed in that regards, like no one really knew. And so I
Yeah.
always flew like under the radar in terms of that. I knew everyone's parents, knew all the
Yes.
adults, but like, God forbid anyone my age
No, the kid, yeah.
was, you know, in the loop. So I kind of always like stayed like that. And then, yeah, I've
So
kind of
funny.
liked always being incognito in this sense. And now that like I've become more like, I say visible in the community, it's definitely interesting how that whole dynamics played out. But yeah, I've always tried to like fly under the radar, stay a little under it. You know, I have
Yeah.
my little places where I'm seen, but
Little pockets.
yeah, but I've always been here in Oroville, and I mean, I love the place. It's my home. It's, you know, the place that, you know, I want to settle down and, you know,
Yeah.
settle my roots. And so, but yeah, always having that family business just really
Yeah.
keeps you tied. And then
Yeah.
it just gives you that sense of like investment back to the community. you
into
live
the
in.
community. Oh,
But yeah.
I love that. I was thinking about the first time that I saw you or had an interaction with you, and I think it was, or that I can remember. Maybe I saw you multiple times before when, like you said, like you weren't as visible. I don't know, but maybe with your parents around town. But we were at an ODBA meeting, and it was a downtown Oroville business meeting, and you stood up to present something like in the meeting, and just the way that you held yourself, and because you look very young, right? Like,
Yeah.
and I think at that point, this was probably 7-ish years ago, maybe, and you stood up and you started speaking, and I was like, who is this person? Where did they come from? What? Why? What? Who is it? Because you speak so well in public settings, and I was just like so taken aback by your public speaking skills. So it was pretty cool.
Yeah, no, I just, one of those things, it just became something that was like growing up in like speech therapy classes all my life, you know, tongue tied, couldn't speak, couldn't say anything, you know.
That was
and it-
you?
That was me. Literally,
my
literally could
goodness.
not speak to save my life. I had my own language. I was so bad. And only my parents
Really?
understood me. Yeah. Yeah.
So
no,
you worked with like speech therapists?
yeah, I was in speech therapy till I think I hit like 8th grade.
Wow.
And
I
mean,
never would have guessed that.
yeah, most people don't, but it was just so much practice and just
Yeah.
determination. Like, okay, I just want people to understand me when I speak.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, I just spent a lot of time, and then it just became one of those, you know, being thrown into racing and having to like,
Think
rapid
quick.
fire, and
Yeah.
you just have to learn how to be good. And like as a girl, I mean, they're definitely, you got an uphill battle as a girl, but like the best way that like I found like in racing, like that stood and made me like stand apart from everyone was how I carried myself. And the better I could speak on the mic, the better I could go up there on the podium, the better I could present myself. Like sponsors liked that. If I could be the image and I could be what they wanted in terms of marketing, they saw me as gold. So therefore I was like, all right, that's where the money is. That's how I'm going to make my dreams happen. Then I will learn how to speak. I will learn how to present myself. And my dad was so good at that. He was just like, all right, talk. And we just be driving and I have to ramble on about something. And so it was one of those, it just came very naturally, but unnaturally at the same time. Like I had to learn how to do this. But no.
Well, I'm so glad you said that, because I'm sure some people watching, I know my cousin's a speech therapist. And so and she works with a lot of kids in different county, but it's just like, it's something that we don't talk about enough. I think. I don't know. That was so surprising. I never would have guessed that.
Yeah, no, and when I was in college, took public speaking. He was like, "You sure?
Yeah.
Are you sure you had a speech impediment and you could not speak?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I did the whole popsicle thing." I'm like, I did the whole gambit.
Wow.
I'm like, I'm 100% sure that's where I started from. He's just like,
Yeah.
"No, I think you're lying." And he was so convinced, even when we finished the class. But it's one of those things that, it was a struggle, and like it was not easy to figure out. I mean, there was days I'm like, I give up. I'm just going to stay mute. I'm just not going to talk at this point, but
I'm
it's just,
done.
my parents were like, my mom was so good about like working with me every day, and my dad struggled with speaking. So he understood.
Wow.
And so it was one of those things, like I had a really good support network at home to like, okay, we understand you have your own made up language. We know what you're saying, but the world doesn't.
Yeah.
So we got to help you figure out how to get your voice out there to the world. And so my parents are so instrumental in that.
That's so cool. Oh, I love that you shared that. Thank you so much for sharing that. I was trying to think too with the racing. So for those of us like myself who don't understand it at all, you said podium, you said speaking. Like, do you get up on the podium and speak? Is that after you win a race, after you complete a race, after like, what's that? It
really depends on the race, the situation. I mean, there's times where you pull right off the track and you're literally jumping out. I mean, I have beads of sweat running down my face. I'm red as a tomato. I'm sitting in, 145 degree, cockpit, and my shoes are melting because the floor is, at least 300 degrees.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm just like, okay. And then it's in those moments, okay, tell me what happened. How'd the race go? And you just have to like switch your brain so quickly from, I was just out there performing, physically, mentally to the max, in an environment that's so fast paced. I mean, you're hitting speeds that are so incredible, and you're just, praying that everything works and everything goes. And you got to, make sure you make it off the track, and they'll hit you with that. And then you just have to like start, well, we had a good race today. This happened out there. We're going to go back and review the footage, yada, yada, yada. You just start rambling, thank you to all my sponsors, my crew, your team. You just have to like know that stuff off the top of your head. There is no rehearsing after that.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
And you have to remember what just happened out there and then talk about it because they want to know what happened.
Right. And you're like trying to process.
And it's all in real time. It's all live. It's all like, there's no editing. There's no, okay, let us take a breath. It's no, you're literally climbing out. As soon as you get the helmet off, you're speaking.
What's the fastest you've ever gone?
Well, legally on a closed course track. I think, gosh, maybe it was like 198, close to 200, something like that, right before I hit the corner.
You hit a corner. Oh,
well, because you go straight into
hit the corner, like turn.
It's like you turn into the, no. I've hit my corners, but no. But yeah, so I mean, the cars I drove, it's not like not slow. You can definitely hit some serious speeds in those things. And just depending on the right track, you're able to definitely carry that momentum. Some tracks are slower speeds, like slower top speeds, but you're still booking it pretty good around the rest of it. But
when did you start racing? When did you start? What age were you?
My dad held me from the industry, and he actually waited till I aged out.
Oh,
so yeah,
really?
My dad held me from it because he saw that I was really talented, and he goes, "You're gonna be one expensive kid."
Oh.
And life at the time just like was not in a place for where I was, and then the industry was just so different, and my dad was getting out of the industry as I would be coming into the industry. So it was just one of those, like, between the business and the family, it's just like my parents really wanted me to know what a childhood was like, because my, you know, growing up racing the way my dad did it, you know, seeing the industry so intimately, you're just like, okay, if, you know, as a kid that wants to race, it's you're homeschooled, you live in the back of a trailer, you're from track to track to track to track. There's no thing as a social life.
That's
it is
what you're doing.
Yep, it is your life. It's a 7-day-a-week job. You're training, you're racing, you're training, and you're racing.
Yeah.
And school is like a secondary, social life is a secondary. And so my parents didn't want me to grow up in that.
Yeah.
And they knew I had the talent to get there. And so my dad kind of held me from the industry. So, you know, I'd have those opportunities to know what it is to be a kid.
Yeah.
And so when I turned 14, 15, somewhere right in there, I was like, I want to do this. Like, you know, I know how to do this. Like, let me out there. And so they got me into karting, and I just took off with that. My rookie year out there, I brought home the championship. I picked up a team sponsor halfway through my rookie year.
Wow.
So I was one of their first factory drivers on the West Coast, especially in California. In that, they were a European company, and they were just trying to break into the American market. So I was one of their first ones.
Oh my
and
gosh,
Sarah. So they picked me up halfway through the year. They got me a whole custom cart frame that actually fit me. I mean, I started my rookie season with a seat bolted inside of another seat. Like, they were like, that's not right at all. But there was 2 seats bolted together to make it where I could fit into it.
Oh my god!
In a frame that I didn't fit, in a cart that really was just held together with hopes and dreams.
I love that.
Yeah, it was a miracle. It was a miracle that I made that thing do what it did. But I always grew up driving, you know, tough things to drive, and that made me such a good driver, because I grew up, you know, there was no, this is set up right. It was, nope, you're on something
you have
that's
to
really bad.
Learn how to
make
drive
it good.
this.
And so that's what made me a good driver, because I made bad things good.
Yeah.
And so my rookie year, you know, I went out there. I'm like, what do I know? Never done this before. You know, I'm just going to make it work.
Yeah.
And so I did so well. And then I got noticed, and they liked what I presented. And so they really helped me in these reports. So, like, big shout out to them, you know, and doing all that. And so then, I won my rookie year under their team banner, and, you know, as one of their first one, so they liked the whole story, you know, the whole start to finish story of like, wow, this rookie girl, first year out there, you know, halfway through the season, you're bringing home a championship. And I mean, I was racing against kids that had been doing it since they were 2, 3.
Oh my goodness.
And I mean, they had literally decades of like seat time that I did not have at all being out there.
Seat time. But you, again, you've been immersed in it for your whole life. So
but they had real seat time compared to me. So they just like made it happen. And so
cool.
Doing all of that. And then I was cross training the same time, you know, road racing on Lake Thunder Hill a lot. So I started actually in a Datsun 280Z. It was like a 78 Datsun 280Z, a vintage car. Vintage car. I slid from literally the driver's side to the passenger side every time I hit a corner, because I didn't have a harness. I was in a seatbelt on like all weather tires that you get from like that you drive normally.
It's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was a 6-speed manual, no power steering, no power brakes, literally nothing. And I made that car fast to the point that my instructors were like, you need a better car. Like, you are out driving this car. And I was like, okay. You know, and then so I loved doing that. So that's where I got really into road racing. And so I was always practicing, and then the karting and everything was always asphalt based. So we were always road racing. So that's kind of doing left and right. Similar to like, if you were to go drive up the canyons, you're always doing those big corners, that technical stuff.
Okay.
So that's what I really enjoyed. I didn't do oval racing or dirt racing or anything like that. I really liked the road racing.
The road racing is like going like this. Okay,
yeah, so you're doing lefts, rights, you're doing
I
off
see.
camber, on camber, you're going up hills, down hills,
I
you're
see.
doing, you know, big types of stuff like that. So it's a lot more complex in that regard, but I loved it. It was so much fun.
Oh my gosh.
And so yeah, once I was doing all that stuff, and then I got into stock cars, because my dad was drove stock cars. He raced stock cars professionally.
Oh, okay.
And so stock cars, for the people that don't know what those are, those are basically the road racing version of like what the NASCAR drivers do. So so basically the same exact body style, same exact type of motor, transmission, everything set up, except everything's just a little bit more tweaked to do left and right. So you're doing the road racing instead of just the oval style.
Okay.
So I pretty much like drive what they drove. So I was driving some of their old cars that we were using for practice.
cool.
Because my dad used to be a NASCAR trainer.
Oh, wow.
So in road
Oh my gosh,
racing.
just dropping all the lore. Holy
Yeah, there's
moly.
a lore. I have a lore that I really don't talk about a whole lot. So it's just fun to be able to like share. But yeah, my dad trained a lot of the NASCAR drivers. So like some like the big names like Joey Logano, David LeRagan. Like I grew up with them.
Oh my
And
gosh, Sarah.
I'm like
So
a little
cool.
kid. I was like, I just want to drive. Who are you? Get out of the seat. I don't want to go.
It's my turn.
And I'm like, can you take me for a ride? And I mean, we'd be out at, at Sears Point, which is now Sonoma Raceway. And we'd be at Sears Point doing practice days. And I'd just be like, la, 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 not a clue in the world. I just want to, go have fun. And I just want to go drive. And I want to go, take my laps around the track. And while, my dad was training them. And so it didn't, you don't realize these things when you're so young.
Right.
I'm just a kid. What do I know?
Yeah.
And so we did that. And so then, I drove a lot of their practice cars and what my dad was training them in, I was getting trained into the same degree. And so, I excelled very, very quickly and I had a natural knack for it. So it was one of those, I think genetically I inherited a lot from my father. It was undoubted who my father was. I inherited his gifts. But yeah, so I just went out and drove those. And then so I really got into those. And those are so difficult because it is one of those things like you make one mistake and they're so unforgiving. I would just start spinning. I'm just spinning down the track.
That scares me so much. Like I don't even think you would call me like what are the different kinds of drivers? Defensive driver, offensive driver. I am just an anxious driver just all the time.
Yeah,
Just
no,
every time.
that, growing up like on the tracks, like, obviously I was good at racing, but yeah, so I just did that and, and it was so much fun. And then, after my rookie year, I got offered to go race actually full time.
Oh, okay.
I got signed to race full time. And
wait, so you would have been...
I would have been
15,
I would have been 17, I think 17, 18, somewhere right around there. Was when my championship year for my rookie year finally concluded.
Still in high school?
Yeah, still in high school. I still in high school at the time. And so I got offered, it was going to be 24-hour endurance racing. And it was actually going to be like more closer to, it's going to be like road racing style, but in some like bigger, faster cars and, with a whole team. And I was going to be one of the 24-hour drivers.
Oh, wow.
And so I had they gave me the offer because they saw my rookie year. And I mean, I impressed the right people and I impressed the right way. And so I was so stoked for that opportunity. And then lo and behold, COVID rolls around.
Oh, this was
COVID. This was all during COVID. And so, I mean, the world shut down. So my opportunity, my offer got resent because the world was in a state of I can't travel anyways, and these were across the U.S. type of races. So that's going to be the series was literally across the United States, and I would have been living out of a trailer, track to track, state to state, and the world was just not in that position anymore. And so pretty much when COVID happened was when I was going to start, like springtime is when you start really getting into it. So I was just like finishing out the winter season, and so it was just the unperfect timing for everything. And so and that kind of was one of those things of like, okay, well, I need to figure out what I'm going to do because I was still in high school and 2020 was the year I graduated.
Oh, so you were a 2020 kid.
I was a 2020 kid.
Sorry.
The Lord continues. The Lord continues.
Gosh.
So then I was a 2020 senior kid.
Yeah.
And so then it was okay, well, do we finish high school and do we have to repeat the year? It was like no one knew anything.
Yeah, no one
didn't
knew.
know anything. And so it was just kind of like okay, here we go.
Yeah.
And so it was one of those, the offer got rescinded. I couldn't even my stuff was literally locked in one of the tracks where I couldn't even get my stuff out for like
get to it.
8 months.
Wow.
I couldn't get any of my equipment out. And so I couldn't even practice. I was just dead in the water. So I was like, okay, my parents were like, focus on school. We're just going to like try to get through this. And so I started working full time at my parents because what else do I have to do?
Yeah.
All my classes are online and I have so much free time. So I just started working there at my parent's shop as a collision estimator and just making big girl money.
Right.
And I'm like, this is so much fun. Like I had real big girl money.
Yeah.
And so we just worked and all of this happened. I'm like, okay. So then it was the graduate high school. Okay. Check, that's done.
Right.
Racing is still not in the question at all. And then I'm like, okay, well, now let's go to college. And, I'm like, okay, well, I'll just do 2 years of BU. Did that. Still, when the world started to open up a little bit, one of the things I was in a point where just about to graduate Butte. I was, really starting to kind of get a lot closer to Brian and some of his project he was on, because I was very much in that entrepreneurial mindset.
Yeah,
and I'm
and
really
you
fascinated by that.
Brian
Wong.
who's
Yeah.
kind of very prominent in the community.
I
for
got
sure.
brought in, to his fold because he knew I was going through Butte, under entrepreneurship, and I was really interested in obviously being like a business owner myself and everything like that. And so I was just working with my parents, learning the books, learning how it operates. Finishing out school, and then I kind of got really more close with Brian, and so and then he brought me under his wing as a mentor, just to go through the being what is an entrepreneur. This is what the theory of the textbook you read, this is the actual,
this is the actual boots on the ground.
And so we rolled into that, and then he brought me in on one of his energy startup company, and so I actually started with that one. And
my goodness, see, I didn't even write that down.
I have there's a lot to the lore why I've been so under the radar for so many years.
Oh my goodness.
So I've been with that project for 5 years now.
Okay.
I think that is. It's 5 years now I've been with that project. So it's a green energy startup. I've been with that one, working with him behind the scenes, learning as much as I can. And so then, still at my shop, still with my parents, doing all that. I was working with that, and so I'm just kind of like, my parents like, what are you going to do with your life? I'm like, at this point,
I have a lot of options right now.
At this point, I really don't know. I mean, the last, 2 years had been a gambit of, I'm going to be a professional racer finally too.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm going to graduate high school.
Right.
To what am I going to do for college? And so I was just like, it was one of those, I'm like, really, at this point, I'm just here.
Yeah.
Whatever happens.
Well, and because you could have taken that, what happened, and I will get back on track with the questions, but you could have taken that, maybe we'll lean in more into that later, but it could have totally derailed you. And maybe it did in some ways. And, because we all, I don't know, it's like, thinking back to that time, it was just so hard. There's so many, for so many people. But you were like, well, okay, what's next? Like, what can I do next? And you still got involved, and you didn't let it stop you. So I love that. I'm so excited. I did not know we were going to talk about all of that. This is so cool. Okay, well, but I want to get into, because you've grown up in Butte County, Oroville specifically, but you went to Durham. So you've been, you're very familiar with the area. Are there any hidden gems? Like, do you have a favorite local spot or thing that not enough people know about?
Oh, I would say just like the lake. I grew up at the lake.
Okay.
And I just love the lake so much. I mean, going up, like, I think my favorite spot that's like the best like hidden gem to me is like going like back up towards like Feather Falls in the middle fork of the lake, and just like going up there and playing in like the waterfalls and stuff. And I think it's like Little Bean Creek that comes into it. That's like the first waterfall you hit up there. Oh, that was like literally my favorite place as a kid. Like, I was just like,
cool.
We would go like jump off like the big rocks back there. And I mean, I think there's like no better place. It's like, to me, it's like when I think of Oroville, like why I love this place, it's the little places like that where you don't see anybody. You just are out there in nature, and you get to enjoy just the natural beauty that Oroville is.
Yeah.
And, and how like these little things you can't find somewhere else, and that just makes it so unique. And like for me, it's just the nature, just the beauty of Oroville, having the river in the middle of the town, the lake so close in proximity, and then having like the mountains and all the natural features.
So much beauty in this area.
To me, it's just, just the farmlands, the valley, you can go up towards, to the dam, and you can see all of it from one spot. I know. And I just love that about our town. And I think that is just such a gem, it's such a hidden gem. It's just Oroville itself. It's just, I love my little town, and I wanted to say a lovely little town, but, I do think Oroville deserves the recognition, that it does.
Yeah.
It is such a beautiful town.
It really is. Oh, I agree. I love that. Well, okay. This one might be a little trickier to narrow down, but this is kind of your business nugget. Like, if you could sum up, good luck, what you do with all the hats that you wear, what do you do, I guess? And maybe if you wanted to focus on one or two things.
Oh gosh. I'm just the girl you call when you want to get something done. Hey. I'm just the girl you call. You want to figure something out? I will figure it out. Anything from developing businesses to the fine details to building, IT infrastructure networks. Been there, done that. Or, really, it's one of those, I've been tossed in the deep end so many times on stuff I don't know. And I've literally YouTubed it till midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning going, okay, now I know.
Yep. YouTubeversity. Yeah, that's what
pretty much. I'm a YouTube certified mechanic in most departments.
There you
YouTube
go.
certified in just about everything I do. But yeah, I mean, I'm just the girl you call when you want to figure something out.
Love it.
That's what I love most. I just love challenges. I love
solving problems, getting in there.
Creating things from nothing, going from the bar napkin to, okay, I think we have something here. And I think that's like my biggest oh, this is fun. This is exciting. Oh, this sucks, but this is so much fun. So yeah, I'm just really just the girl you call. And I just love doing so many different things.
So cool. I love that. Why did you shared a little bit before, but we're kind of getting into a little deeper of mining of the heart. So, which it sounds like you didn't really have much of a choice when the world shut down, but you did, as I was kind of alluding to earlier, is like you could have chosen to just give up, not do anything, like whatever. I don't know, just not seen any good in it, I guess. But why did you choose the work that you're doing now? Like, what made you say yes to maybe that mentorship with Brian, or I don't know, leaning into saying yes to even going to your parents' shop? Like, you didn't have to do that. I'm sure they really wanted you there, but I mean,
it was just one of those things. It was just the opportunity. The opportunity, I might as well work full time. I was bringing home good money, and I was able to save a lot of money. And I was like, okay, well, this is nice. This part's nice. I like this. I can go buy things and be like, oh, I can just splurge. But that was also the, I'm freshly 18, making real big girl money. And I'm going, this is wonderful. Why did I do this sooner?
Right.
But it was one of those things, I just really didn't know what I wanted to do quite yet. But I knew I didn't want to go to school for 4 years. I didn't want to do a bachelor's program. I was very like, no, I'm not a big, I think education is great and I love learning and I love educating myself, but I just didn't ever see the fit with traditional college. So I was like, okay, I know I'm going to hit the workforce. I love that part. And I knew I didn't want to work a basic 9-to-5 job, in something that's, here's your tasks, you do the same thing. I didn't really want to do, I always wanted to do something that was like more like fulfilling in the sense, and I loved when my days were just chaotic and like working.
Like the chaos. You like going from thing to thing.
Feeding off the chaos as a kid, and like especially like with my parents, it's like working at the shop. I'm like, hey, this is great. It's the same thing kind of every day, and I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. But like when the chaos hit, I was like beaming. My eyes would just light up, and my mom could see that. Like, and that's when I was like involved with Rotary, doing all the youth service projects and all the projects with Rotary. My mom could just see like, my eyes just light up at like,
yes.
Oh.
And you recently just hosted a huge event for Rotary.
Yes,
Rotary
I did.
Roundup annual event.
Yes, thank you to anyone who came.
Yes,
it was a great time. I'm glad everyone had fun.
Maybe he'll pull up the pictures. I don't know. Yeah,
yeah.
No, that's so good. Well, I was thinking too, even with the chaos of it, how almost like how that correlates to even being in the race car, and how like, ooh, like there's some chaos and I have control over this thing right here, but I might not have control if I do this little thing, but I don't know. We're going to see what happens.
Yeah. It scratches that like really nice spot in my head when it's just absolute like uncertain chaos and I have 1,000 things happening. Like it is just an absolute mess. And I just like, there's just something about it. It just goes, oh, okay. I think I want to do this. I think I like
I'm
this.
home. This
is comfort. This is, where people like go, oh, run from it like the plague. I just go, give me more.
Give me
some more. I want, how much can I do? How far can I go? How fast can I make this happen? And so, being a part of the car club, and doing all the different events and, it's just the back and forth, the chaos. Like my mom could just see it just light up in my eyes when there was just so many kettles in the fire, basically. I was just like, yeah.
Which you kind of
doing.
Didn't mean to interrupt you. I was just thinking with the car show, you kind of revitalized that whole thing. Because growing up, we always went to Feather Fiesta days. My parents, my dad has a band, Feedback, so they would always play on the corner, family band. And so we grew up going to the car shows too, because that's what they would play. But then it was kind of for a few years, I don't know if it didn't happen or I don't know. It didn't seem as...
Yeah, the
vibrant.
COVID really took a hit on the older members because it
That's what
really
it
kind
was,
of
yeah.
dwindled down to a lot of older members, a lot of original members. They
Mm-hmm.
were just kind of hoping, wait until they could pass it off to keep it going, and
Yeah.
they were just trying their best. But COVID really took a number on them. But myself and Josh McCory, my good friend, we just kind of one of those things. My dad kind of put the pieces together, and my grandfather was a longtime Earl Dam Cruiser member. My parents were, and so it was kind of like one of those. I don't even know how it happened, but we got roped into it, dragged into it. However we want to, volunteered, something in the nature. But we ended up just picking it up, and then we, Josh and I both grew up at that car show, and we were very much in love with the classic cars, and so it's kind of like, all right, we're gonna be buddies in this, and we're gonna figure this out. And so that's what we did. And then he's still currently the president of the car club, and then I was his treasurer. Yeah. And so we kind of always worked, on the back end, making all this stuff happen. But yeah, we wanted to bring back because we knew the nostalgia and what it meant to, us and our grandparents and our parents. And we really wanted to keep that going and bring that for the next generation. And so, yeah, we revived it. We brought it back to life, and we spent the last 5 years trying to rebuild it to what the club had originally had it at, which is a feat of in its own self of trial and error and just learning as we go. And then how do we incorporate, what they did that was manual, by hand, paper? How do we automate? How do we use systems? How do we use technology? And so I was a big part of, I'm like, okay, I'm not going to do all that work by hand. I hate paperwork. So we're going to bring this into the 21st century. And I told the club, like the older club members, I'm like, you got to get with me on this one. I'm not going to do this by hand. I'm not doing it. Nope, not happening.
We're going to have a link.
Yep. And we're going to have QR codes. And we're going to be able to pay online. And those are really big concepts. But, we worked really hard to try to bring it back to that. And so just the chaos and just the having to figure it out from basically the ground up again. It was, yet again, I'm in the same spot. I'm going from the ground to build something, and I just loved doing that. And I still, I love the club so much and what it's becoming, and and how it's much is growing, and I just wish the community and everyone still loves us as much as we love our community, and that we still get that support and membership, and we can able to keep it going for more generations to come.
How many members now? I mean, off the top of your head, can you? Yes.
Gosh, I am not the person to ask. I've been a little removed from that now with my Rotary.
But I mean, cars at Feather Fiesta Days at the car show, Gold Rush car show. It was, in the hundreds, I want to say.
Back in the heyday, I think they had it like just under 1,000 cars.
Oh my goodness.
And that was when they had it like packed down here. And so that's the number we're trying to get close to again. We really want to get back there again.
It was several hundred though last year. I
think we were close to about these are off the top of my head. I think we're over 150. Wow. I think closer to 200, somewhere right in there. Okay. Like I said, I don't remember off the top of my head, but we were definitely growing. And so this year, we're trying to grow it again. I know Josh has been pushing real hard to really bring it back to its former glory and, focus all of their time and effort and resources towards that. So hopefully this year we get a lot more cars, and we pack the downtown even more, and we just keep doing better and better every single year. So it's always a continual project, but it's so exciting to see it come back, and the community have its investment into it to see it continue. So I thank the community for that one. So
I am so excited. So we're gonna continue this conversation, but first we're gonna take a minute to hear a word from our sponsors. And if you would take just a couple minutes, not even that, just a couple seconds actually, if you could just hit like and subscribe to this podcast so you get updates of when we release new episodes. You could even send this to one of your friends. Maybe you have a daughter. Maybe you have a friend who has a daughter who's like, oh my gosh, I would just love Sara and everything that she represents, and maybe they're into racing. I don't know. I just this could be so cool for them. So send this episode over, and we'll be right back after these messages. This episode is brought to you by Erin Lackey Photography. That's me. I'm the photographer. This is my studio. We have a studio here in downtown Oroville, and I love photographing families, high school seniors, and pets. And you know what is right around the corner? The holidays. You're going to want to have somebody document those memories for you. Do you have a kid who's missing their front teeth? Now's the time to get them in for a portrait session. Do you have maybe a tween who is gawky and awkward? That phase doesn't last that long. You're going to want to have them in to have that documented. Even though they may not want to, you're going to want to. What about a high school senior who's getting ready to graduate in 2026? you're going to want to have them come in and we can have a consultation and we can talk about all the amazing things that we can do for your high school senior to make their year the best. Maybe you have a family and you haven't had portraits for, 5-10 years, maybe never. I have clients that have never had a family portrait. Come, let's talk. Let's have a conversation and we can plan where these portraits will live in your home. Last thing, if you are a business owner, maybe you're a professional. Maybe you haven't had a business portrait or a headshot or some branding images for a while. Let's talk. We can make that happen for you so you have amazing portraits to put online for your social media, all of those things. I can't wait to talk to you and we can have a conversation and see what that will look like. Ultimately, it was hard to get me on this podcast. I was very busy. This is a busy time of year. And so, they're lucky that I said yes to come on and be an advertising business. There's other businesses that really wanted this spot, but I took it from them. So maybe you'll be the next one to advertise here. Okay, back to the episode. And we're back with Sara Nolind, who is just the coolest person ever. If you have not listened to the first part of this podcast, you need to go back and listen to it. And we are having just a fantastic conversation about all the things, about everything. So I cannot wait to hear your answers to this next question, which is our Fool's Gold segment. So this is a question I like to ask, do you have any lessons learned, any regrets, any challenges as it pertains to what you're doing now? Anything that you've learned maybe that you could go back and tell yourself?
Yeah, I think a lot, back when I was younger, especially in schools, I am severely dyslexic on top of not being able to talk as well. I mean, I kind of got hit with the 1, 2, 3 combo as a kid growing up, in terms of school. And, it was always really tough. And, I always was really hard on myself. Why is everything so much harder for me? It takes, what my peers, 5 minutes, it takes me a couple hours. And it was one of those, I just always struggled. And, I look back now, I'm older and I'm an adult, and I kind of go, I get it now. I get why I had to struggle. But, it's one of those things, there became a point where I started taking off in terms of academically, in comparison to my peers. And it was because I knew what it was like to struggle. I knew what it was like to have to learn, have to, put a lot of, time and energy into mastering something, as simple as, the spelling words for the week. I learned how to put the hours, the time and the effort and the energy into it to be able to understand something that I just could not get to save my life. And then when I started to, separate and that hard work started to pay off, I'm just so thankful that, I had such great support, from my parents to really hey, we get it, you're struggling, but we got to keep going. Yeah. And, if I could look back and just have anything to say to my younger self is it's okay to struggle, and to even those out there listening, it's okay. To struggle, I was put in the box. I did not fit the box. There was no way I should have excelled the way that I excelled. And I'm it's okay to think differently. If you don't fit in the way that you think, that is so okay. It is so okay to think differently and to have your brain work differently. And I think that has been my greatest asset in life is the way my brain processes and the way that I think and the way I approach situations. Yeah. I had to learn it the hard way, and it's given me such a great appreciation. And now that, I am an entrepreneur, I found where exactly my brain loves to run and where it just really lights up. And, without the struggles, you just can't appreciate, where it's gotten you. And, and it's made me, conquer so many mountains. I mean, mountains I thought were impossible to climb. I just now go, okay, this is just a Wednesday. I still got the rest of the week to go. This is Wednesday's problem. I'm this is easy. And I'm just so glad for that. And, it's okay. It's okay to struggle. It's okay to not be good at things and to know that you need help and, just keep on going. And, you'll find where that niche is, and that's okay. But, it's something random or it's something that you didn't think. But,
I love that. That's such a good word, especially even as an adult hearing that too, it's okay, if I might want to do something or try something, it's okay to be bad at it for a while.
Yeah,
you know, I'm good
totally.
at it right away.
Yeah, it
know.
defeats like all the learning. And I mean, yeah, in the moment you're struggling, you're like, this sucks. Like, why can't I be good at it? Like, I just, you compare yourself to your peers, like, why everyone else is getting it? Why aren't I getting it? And it was one of those, like, it was really hard on me. It was really hard mentally because I always wanted to be good. And the competitive nature in me, I always wanted to be the best.
Right.
And I just was not. And I could not get there. And it took me so many years. And then when it finally clicked and I learned how to, process and do it, it made all the struggle worth so much. And it's given me so many blessings and opportunities in the struggles. And, without those struggles, I would not be where I am. I would not have learned. I would not have had the opportunities. And so it's one of those, like, even if you don't understand why it's happening, like, everything happens for a reason. And I had to learn those lessons, and they were hard lessons, but so invaluable.
Oh, that's so good. So good, Sarah. Okay. Well, we're heading into our kind of switching it up a little bit. It's the gold rush round. Cha, 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 cha. And this is a rapid fire question round where I'm going to read you a list of things. I'm going to say best blank. And then you, without thinking, say the first thing that comes to your mind. Okay. Might get a little spicy. We'll see.
Excited.
Okay, we will start with, because you have this lovely beverage right next to you, we'll go with an easy one. Best coffee.
Oh, for sure. The Union Coffee Club. Shout out to them.
Yes. Best tacos.
Oh, good Lord. I'm going to have to say La Cocina de Acapulco over by the UPS store.
Oh,
yeah. I think their Mexican food is killer. It is so good. It is so good. So shout out to them. Their food is so good. If you have not gone there, their burritos as well are so amazing. But
we've been there, right? I think we've been there a couple times. Yeah.
Yeah, they were by far my favorite place.
Okay. Ooh, good to know. Best burger.
Oh, we just really out here hitting it. I have to say, honestly, Jake Rash at Rowdy's Burgers.
Where's Rowdy's Burgers?
Oh my God, they're the food truck over by A1.
Oh,
I think it's Rowdy's Burgers. I may be saying that totally wrong.
Righteous Burger?
No.
Righteous is gone.
We're gonna have to fact check me on that one. Sorry, Rash. I'm sorry about that.
All right,
my bad.
It's a food truck.
Yes, it's by Jake Rash. So it's OG Jake's Burgers.
Oh,
yeah, but he puts his own little flair on it. But it's so good. Yeah, I absolutely love what Jake's doing over there. So that's one of my favorite burger spots when I do have a moment to actually leave leave my life and leave my business for a minute to go get food. That's one of my favorite burger spots to go.
I love that. Okay, best hiking spot.
Ooh, if it's by boat, definitely up by the falls. But if I had to say by foot, I love going out to Feather Falls through that trail. Especially before it closed, due to the fire. But right now, that's accessible. I really love the trail that goes out above the fish hatchery.
Oh,
and you go through the train tunnel and everything right there. I grew up riding horses through that, and so that was so much fun. And so I love walking that with my dog through the train tunnels and everything. I think it's closed right now, but yeah,
it's
that's
probably
one of my favorite
full
spots.
of water too. Maybe
I think they're doing
always kind of
sometimes, but but I know they're doing construction out there right now.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, they're doing a lot of stuff with post fire and all of that. But yeah, that's one of my favorite hiking spots is going out that direction towards the dam.
Good to know. Best music venue.
Music venue.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
My Spotify DJ is pretty much my music source.
That's your music source.
Yeah.
Totally fine. I was going to say, you probably don't have much time to go out and enjoy music.
I've been to one concert in my life.
Oh, okay.
One concert in my life. So really music venues is a very limited
the
conversation.
Car soundtrack on Spotify.
Yeah. My Spotify DJ really knows how to hit me with the random ones.
I love it. Best grocery store. Ooh.
I have to say Rayleigh's because that's where I always go.
Yes.
Yeah.
So many people say Rayleigh's.
Yeah. No, I do love my Rayleigh's.
So fun. Best. Oh, you already did that one. Best breakfast.
Ooh. outside the Union Coffee Club for breakfast, I think one of my other favorite places for breakfast is going over to Jen's.
Oh, Jen's Cafe.
Yeah, I love going over to Jen's. We'll go over there for Saturday morning breakfast with me and my boyfriend. We'll go out there a lot. So yeah, outside of us, I think that's like my second top favorite place.
They're really good. Is it the red potatoes?
It's
Is
like
that what
they're
it-
like home style potatoes.
Yeah. Okay, that's what it is. Yeah. I think about those. They're really good. Best high school.
I'm not a Thunderbird and I'm not a Tiger, so really that's a new conversation. I'm gonna say Durham because loyalty to that.
I'm just bringing the awkward back.
But
you
yeah,
know,
no,
to you.
definitely. I am not a part of the whole, LP versus Oroville. I'm like, okay.
It's all, we're all here.
Yep. I'm like,
together.
we're still in one town.
I love it. And lastly, best local event.
Ooh, my favorite local event is definitely Feather Fiesta Days, not just for the Gold Rush Car Show, but just the entire, history of it with the town and the parade and everything that all the other service organizations put on, to make
It's
that
such
event
a big
happen, from the exchange clubs, from the Rotary clubs, from, the Native Sons of the West,
Golden West, I
Golden
think.
West, yeah.
Yes.
To the car clubs. I mean, just all the different service groups as well as the chamber, and everything that they pitch in for that event. I think that's such a great event. Salmon festivals are probably like number 2 to me.
Yeah.
Because I love, when the fish come up through the hatchery
Yeah.
and everything and that whole cycle of life and
So
stuff.
cool.
But I think it's really unique that we have, those really 2 big anchor events, in our little community. A lot of people don't have, a lot of places, especially of our size, don't even have one. So for us to have 2, it's so cool that, our community loves coming out all together and supporting, the place that we all call home.
Yeah. Oh, that's so good. All right. Well, thanks for participating in our Gold Rush round. What is your golden nugget of wisdom? If you could leave your best piece of advice for those watching today, do you have any wisdom for us?
Oh, gosh. I'm just so full of wisdom.
You are, though.
Oh, gosh.
So much experience.
I would just have to say, if you have a dream and if you have a passion, go for it. I mean, the only limitation is truly you. It's, it's just the only limitations is that of your mind. As soon as you kind of like break down like the limitations in your mind, it really becomes a question, well, what can't I do? Well, how far can I go? What else can I do? And, it took me a long time to really like understand that and to embrace it. But I really just kind of looked at things. Well, I don't know, but I will. I will learn, Well, the only limitation is really going to be me. So therefore I can control that. I can keep going. And, it was the same with racing. It was the same with, businesses. I've always applied that, well, the only one stopping me is me. So I can tell me to get out of the way. And I kind of apply that to a mental exercise, but just really, your mind is limitless and it's just letting that go and going, why not? Won't know till I get there.
Here she is, everybody. I don't know what to say. Oh my gosh, I love that. That's so good. Okay, well here's your opportunity. I know we've been talking about so many things and other businesses and organizations, but this is a time to really like put your stake in the ground, claim your gold. How do people get in contact with you? How do you want people? Do they follow you? Do you have an Instagram, any social media? What's anything coming up that you want people to know about?
Oh, well, being a Gen Z, I'm like so anti-social media. Like I have everything on private. I have like nothing like
oh my
out
gosh,
there.
I have to suggest to follow you.
Yes. I am literally so incognito when it comes to the social media realm. I live that very private, which is so odd for my generation. That's like all on TikTok, all about that. I'm like so like I'm okay.
Yeah.
But no,
well, you're class of 2020. That makes sense.
Yeah. I just very like recluse about things. And so, a lot of what I do, has been very much under the radar and I still do operate very much in that sense. No one really knows the depth of how involved I am or exactly what I do. So every time that people ask me, they're like, I did not know that.
Right.
And I kind of really love that part. So I think it's a really fun game of like everyone gets to guests.
Be surprised.
And then they get to see me, you know, out in the wild wherever I am. And they get, you know, I think I really like when people get to learn it very naturally about me, you know, who I am and what I do. And they get to see that, you know, for their own eyes and get to be a part of it. But yeah, I am usually always at the cafe. And if I'm not there, I'm at my parents' shop.
Yes.
Shout out to mom and dad.
Union Coffee Club or Pioneer
Collision Center. Yeah. So I'm usually in those two places. And yeah, usually from one of their, probably your parents know of me or someone else knows of me. But
not the kids though.
No, don't ask your kids. Don't ask your kids like, oh, did you go to school with their? Probably not.
Probably not.
They probably never heard of me to say anything. But yeah, no, I'm definitely recluse. But yeah, come check us out at the Union Coffee Club. We're always serving up stuff out there. You know, me, Hunter, Forrest, and Nicole, we've all, you know, made that thing our baby, and we love seeing where that thing goes. But I'm always still a part of the family business, and it's more of a voluntold. And if you are a child of a family business, you understand you're just told, and it's just how the world works. But come check us out. You know, come support us. And, you know, we're all locally owned.
Yeah. Oh, that's so good. Oh, well, Sara, thank you so much for being here and for sharing a bit about your life and your history and just how you're involved. I'm so excited for this episode.
Yeah.
So, and more importantly, thank you for having a heart of gold.
Oh, well, thank you. You know, this place is truly why I have a heart of gold. So I can't do without my community. So thank you to my community for making me who I am.
Yay. Then we close.
You just come off the track and you're like, I'm literally beat like a tomato and you want me to talk. Okay.
You're so,
sorry, I'm a yap.
So cool.
I'm a yap. Yeah, no, I'm a projector.
Yeah.
Learn to do that one. No. Yeah, look, this is part of the campaign ad is her not wanting to do this and her ending up doing it.
So we'll have that clip right next to you, like being sworn in.
Yeah, I'd be like, guys, didn't want to do this.
Cars.
Yeah, no, the amount of times that Cars, like the soundtrack from Cars comes up and, you know, on my Spotify DJ, it's probably an unhealthy amount. Yeah, this is going to be my testimony of me saying, no, I do not want to be mayor. I'm going to use that clip. Be like, no, guys. You know, business professionals, and I'm out here playing Disney, you know, theme songs. Yes. I'm like, oh my God,
that's so good.
My bad.